Hey everyone, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Now, in this video, we will be giving our final Senate predictions for the 2022 midterm elections. We say final, but I mean, they are subject to some change if we feel they're fit to. I mean, like, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so our grand final projection should come out either tomorrow or the morning of election day. It is still to be seen, but this is our final Senate individual video on the Senate, so that's why we're calling it that. Anyways, I think we should just jump right in because we have a lot of Senate seats to get to. So we put out all the safe states here that need no discussion, but there are a few that we still think need some discussion. And the most safe state here that needs no discussion is probably that needs a discussion is Alaska. I think Alaska has two Republican potential senators, but the Democrat has absolutely no chance of winning here. You want to talk about this? You love Alaska.
Yeah, so in this state, we have incumbent Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski going up against Kelly Tshibaka. Murkowski is the more moderate Republican. Tshibaka is the more MAGA, Trumpy Republican. Essentially, Murkowski's favored to win here, but either way, you're going to get a Republican senator because, those are the two primary candidates. We think, though, I think Murkowski's favored to win here. Do you have any thoughts on
I think
which of the two
certainly I think Murkowski is around 85 to 90% of winning, but Tshibaka could certainly pull off an upset. So and that would be a somewhat of like a half flip for the Republicans, with Murkowski sometimes stabbing them in the back. But anyways, let's move on to the other safe states that we need to get to. And I think we should do Iowa, which is probably the last there's maybe one more, but I think Iowa's extremely undisputed now at this point to be a safe state. With Chuck Grassley, the recent Seltzer poll that came out just cements him, I guess, as a safe state. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, the Seltzer and Co poll put Grassley up 12. They're the most accurate pollster in Iowa in 2020 and generally over the last few years. If they put Grassley up over 10, I'm willing to believe it. Also, you have to think undecideds in Iowa, chances are they're breaking for Grassley, who's an incumbent, who's kind of been a staple in the state for how long? Like decades now. Yeah.
More than decades. Like it feels like centuries, to be honest. Like, isn't Chuck Grassley has been around for like a massive fraction of like Iowa's history, but I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. So without that Seltzer trolling, I think we should move to Utah, which is probably some people might still characterize this as likely, but I think we're going to put this in safe.
Yeah, generally I agree. Here we have Evan McMullen, an independent, running against Mike Lee, the incumbent Republican. McMullen has been, trying to get a diverse kind of base to vote for him: moderate Republicans, Democrats, independents. But I don't know. It hasn't really seemed to be working. Even his own internals now show Lee up slightly. So I think here, Lee's certainly favored. And again, this is Utah. He's the incumbent. Chances are he's going to win by the safe margin here. Yeah.
Yeah, in the summer / early fall, there seemed to be a little bit of McMullen momentum. I don't know. But Lee's been recovering. I think he's fully fine at this point. So safe. Hogan. Sorry about that phone ringing. All right, let's move on to some slightly more contentious ones. I think one of the big ones is Florida here, which has some debate on whether or not this should be safe or likely. We have Marco Rubio, the Republican, and Val Demings, who is actually a well-known Democrat in the state. And Marco Rubio has been trailing Governor Ron DeSantis in like all his polling, which is really interesting considering how Rubio has that Hispanic strength. He has that, he's been in Florida for a while, and he outperformed Trump in 2016 by quite a bit. But DeSantis has his charm of his own. I guess he's obviously a very big superstar as well. But anyways, Marco Rubio isn't performing as well as we think probably, at least I think, as well as he probably needs to be in the polls to win by over 10, but it's really close. I think I'm preferring to put this in one in likely, but honestly, in the 2 days before election day, this can move to safe.
Yeah, this one's a very tough one because, like, I mean, Rubio has historically performed pretty well with Hispanics in Florida, and with them shifting even more to the right, I mean, I could see this going into an over 10 race, him winning by over 10, solid. But then again, compared to 2016, Val Demings is a much better Democratic candidate, much better fundraiser. I believe she out fundraised Rubio and still is. So I think we're gonna have this in likely here. Maybe a poll, a good poll can come out in the next day, but generally, I think this is going to be in the likely margin by election day. Between 5 and 10,
yeah, maybe if like some big pollster goes in there and releases something, but
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Likely a Republican. All right, now there's probably one or two states that are potentially still solid here on this map, and I think I want to go to Colorado here. Colorado, I've been saying this all along. I think this is a solid race for Bennett against everyone saying it's likely, and literally everyone says it's likely, but I think it's solid. And I'm not sure if I want to stick to my guns now at this point. That one Trafalgar poll put O'Dea within 2, and O'Dea is a moderate. If you don't know, O'Dea is probably like one of the probably like the most moderate like senator running this cycle on the Republican side, other than Murkowski maybe. And yeah, it's really seems to me like this one could have shifted into 8 or 9 points for Bennett. But what do you think here? I think this is right on the border.
I think this one has shifted. It's like since our last prediction, I think this is the one that shifted a bit to the right. I mean, Republicans are beginning more momentum, and also on top of that, O'Dea is moderate. I think Bennett. I don't really think Bennett could get this above 10. This is gonna be like, like a high single digits race for me. I think he's gonna win by a likely margin. This year, yeah.
We're going to be putting this in like the Republican, but keep your eye out for the individual predictions, which will come with the grand finale, because I might be putting this one into solid individually. I'm just so on the fence here. I'm going to defer to Luke on this one. All right. Now, the final race that could still potentially be rated as solid here is going to be the state of Ohio. Ohio drifted really weirdly over the summer. If you look at these polls, over the summer, you would think the Democrat was winning. You would think that this race was in like, I don't know, Colorado or something. But no, it's Ohio. And recently we've seen these polls come right back to Vance near the very end. Tim Ryan ran a good campaign, I won't lie. If Democrats keep the Senate, it might be because Tim Ryan diverted enough money to Ohio. But Vance has done a lot better. The most recent Emerson College poll has put Vance up 9 over Tim Ryan, and the polls usually underestimate Republicans in Ohio, no matter the year. And Emerson did put Biden winning the state in 2020, which was awfully horrible of a poll. So anyways, this one could be really close on the border as well. I think probably the correct characterization here is likely, just because there's enough uncertainty, but it is the final prediction. What do you think?
I personally think this is still like a likely race. I mean, like if you look at some of the past polls, I mean, we've had like Republican leading pollsters have this at like +4 for Vance. And I mean, more recently we've had what was it? Was it Marist and Sienna have this even?
Yeah,
I think are around that. Yeah,
they do have it even.
Yeah. So I don't know. Could they be off by more than 10? Maybe. So like, I mean, Ohio had a big polling error, but I'm not sure if we if I don't know. I think for now I'm still thinking high single digits likely. So this would be a rating change toward the right from our last prediction, because we had this in lean before. But yeah, I don't know. It could even go into solid. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking likely though.
Yeah, I think we just push this one to likely. the final prediction might be different though. The grand final, I should say. So there we go on Ohio. Some of these calls are getting really close margin wise. All right, that is all the potential safe states, and we've characterized a few likely. So now I think we characterize the final likely states on this map. So the farthest, the least close race, I should say, on this map remaining is likely in Washington State. And Tiffany Smiley has been running a somewhat close campaign against Patty Murray, surprisingly, in the state of Washington. And I said this a long time ago, but I did think Washington was going to be to the right of Colorado, and I think I will be correct this cycle. We have Patty Murray, who has not been performing so well in the recent polling, but the polling recently has all been Republican pollsters flooding the average. So it's not exactly clear what's happening here in this race, with all the mainstream and Democrat pollsters not touching this race since mid-October. And maybe Tiffany Smiley is close in this a bit, but it's probably still likely Democrat race. It's very close on the border here, though.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, this one seems to have been getting closer with Republicans doing better. It's definitely not in solid anymore for sure. But I mean, again, I don't really want to jump the gun and put this in lean, because all the recent polls have really just been Republican pollsters. And also it is a very blue state, so I think chances are undecideds are gonna go toward Patty Murray, the incumbent. So yeah, I think this is likely blue.
Yeah, all right. Let's put this in likely Democrat, but so many of these races could switch into a different category. It's almost like these pollsters are trying to confuse us so that we mess up the margins. Yeah. Anyways, we've got to get to the final potential likely states, of which there are two. And those are going to be Wisconsin and North Carolina. And I think probably we should start with North Carolina,
Yeah.
because most people would say that Wisconsin's a little closer. Ted Budd, Cherry Beasley, not exactly a classic, but it is classic in the fact that it looks like Republicans are going to win by a somewhat close margin in North Carolina. You want to explain this?
Yeah, so in North Carolina, we have Representative Ted Budd running against, I believe, former head of the state Supreme Court of North Carolina, Cherry Beasley. I mean, it seems that recently Ted Budd's been doing much better in polling. Like his polling margins have increased to a point. Like I think Emerson did a recent poll putting him up 6. I don't know, but like I mean, there's been a variety of polls. Like some Republican pollsters have been putting him around like 4 to 6, and some Dem pollsters have been having it even. I'm not actually sure. Like I don't know. I'm between lean Republican and likely Republican. I kind of feel like yeah, this race is definitely. It's chances are it's not going to Democrats. I mean, North Carolina has always kind of been a bait for Democrats since 2008. Yeah, actually, I'm honestly like not really sure whether we want to keep this in lean or move it to likely. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, so I'm also extremely on the fence on this one. I cannot lie, but I'm personally more inclined to just barely squeak this one to likely. Because of the recent shifts in the generic ballot as well, I think it might just push Ted Budd over the top. But what are your thoughts? Should we just put it in?
Yeah. I think we can put it in likely.
Yeah, just about 5 points. It's like every race here is just barely on a different margin. All right, let's head to Wisconsin. And Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, Mandela Barnes. Ron Johnson has been in Wisconsin for a while, and he's always outperformed expectations, as have other Republicans in the state of Wisconsin. But Trafalgar, who got the race perfect in 2020, now only has Ron Johnson up 3. Marquette has this race narrowing from R+6 to R+2. And whereas half a month ago, we might have said this is a likely Republican race, I'm now more inclined to put this as lean Republican, although like Wisconsin polling errors are absolutely notorious. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, again, this is another one between likely and lean here. Mandela Barnes over the course over October and I guess even September, he's kind of just been tanking and polling. But you know, now it seems like that tanking has sort of stopped. A recent Trafalgar poll put him down 3. So like, I mean, it's Trafalgar. They were accurate in 2020. Usually they're biased to the right. I'm not sure. I think just because of the nature of Wisconsin, it's gonna be pretty close. I'm not entirely sure. I think I would put this in late now. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
think we're gonna go lean here. These decisions are getting increasingly harder. So
okay.
now we're down to the big 5. Used to be the big 4, but New Hampshire is now solidly in play now for the Republicans. So we should start off with New Hampshire, probably. So Don Bolduc, who the Democrats completely wrote off, even Republicans wrote off. They said Bolduc is absolute toast. They stopped funding him for a bit. But Bolduc has shown his recent strength with the surge in the Republican side. And now we have a few polls that shows even or even favoring Bolduc. Should have been a warning sign for Dems that it was difficult for Hassan to get over 50%. But now Trafalgar poll has this R+1. St. Anselm College, which predicted 2020's presidential perfectly, has Bolduc up 1. And some people were thinking, Bolduc might actually have a shot, but then the Emerson College poll came in with Hassan up 4. And now we're thinking, it's probably going to the Democrat side, but the margin is how much? Is this going to be over 1 point or not? Thoughts, Luke?
Yeah, I think I do think this is like a lean margin for Maggie Hassan here. Bolduc is just more of an extreme candidate, and I think New Hampshire voters definitely have proven that they're more willing to split their tickets, and they're definitely more moderated voters. Like, I mean, if you look at they vote for a Republican governor, but they voted for Joe Biden at the same time. So I mean, they're cool at splitting their votes. I can see a scenario where they vote for Republicans statewide, but they don't vote for Bolduc here. Like I think he is quite extreme for New Hampshire voters. Like he was an election denier, and also again, some of this pollster, this polling is like lean Republican here. Like I mean, coefficient has it even. Trafalgar has him up 1. That kind of indicates to me that hey, I think Hassan is still leading. But like, and yeah, I would put this in lean, but I mean, what do you think here?
Yeah, I actually think this is lean too, but I think she's probably only up by 2.5 points or something right now. It definitely could move into a tilt race though in the final 2 days. Like all of these races could move into a different margin, so keep your eyes peeled for that grand final prediction. And in that prediction, by the way, we are going to be having individual and combined ratings. So yeah. All right. Now, the final 4 is Portugal, the big 5, and now the final 4. And probably the least close of these races now is Nevada, which is insane because we made a video before titled "Why Nevada and Georgia Are the Keys to the Senate." And guess what? Nevada is no longer a key to the Senate. We think Nevada is absolutely favoring the Republicans now and is not actually the tipping point for Republicans. So Laxalt and CCM, Catherine Cortez Masto, and Laxalt has been recently doing well in the early vote. It's not exactly a great idea to look at the early vote too much, but there have been analysts looking at the early vote and they think Laxalt's doing well. He's been performing very well in the final polling. For example, Emerson has him up 5 to 6. Trafalgar has him up 4, and the polls do underestimate Dems in Nevada, but not this much. I think definitely Laxalt's up. And this is probably one of the easier final calls. I think he's not up by less than 1. And he's not up by more than 5. This is solidly into lead.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would say like looking at the polls here, like some of them are kind of all over the place. Like I'm seeing like KA Consulting, which polled for like a Republican group, had Cortez Masto up 1. But then you have to look at Insider Advantage, Emerson, Trafalgar, all between like 4 and 6. Like, I mean, so I'm seeing like I see a scenario where Cortez Masto can win, but I can also see a scenario where Laxalt just like throws her across the Senate floor and gets like likely margin here. So I don't know. I think I'm going for a middle ground. Definitely going to put this in lean. Laxalt's definitely above in polling, and he was a good Republican a great candidate for the Republicans to run. Former Attorney General. He's won statewide before. So yeah, I think lean Republican here. Mhm.
Yeah, this one's a more easy call. So now we have the actual three keys to the Senate, which are going to be PA, GA, and AZ. And I don't know. I think the least hard race to call here is Pennsylvania for me. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go to
Let's go to
Pennsylvania here. So
Pennsylvania.
in Pennsylvania, we have a very interesting race here. We have on the Republican side, Dr. Mehmet Oz, a big TV star, famously from New Jersey, all that. He's endorsed by Trump. Yeah, we have Oz. And then we have John Fetterman, Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, former mayor of Braddock, very like working class dude, very famous for having a stroke, and screwing up a debate very badly. And well, yeah. So I don't know, it's been like, I mean, Fetterman had a very solid lead over the summer, but that has since closed after Oz continually punished him over the stroke and like saying, oh, he has mental problems, even though like, I mean, he could still process things fine. I don't know. Do your own research on Fetterman's status and condition, but generally he could still understand and serve as a senator. He just speaks wonky. And yeah, but I mean, obviously, in terms of the race, it's been closening, and then the debate did Fetterman no favors because obviously he had a stroke, and he was like stuttering and missing words in a debate, which is not a good sign. I don't know, like we've seen in recent polling, Oz has had leads. Trafalgar put him up too. But that like Trafalgar was off 3 to the right in PA in 2020. So I don't know. This is a very, very close race. I think with Republican momentum, it's tilt R. What do you think, Alvin?
I actually think this is all the way in lean Republican. You could cite Trafalgar, but Emerson also has him up 1, and they were off to the left by 3 or something, right? And I just think like Pennsylvania after that debate, most independents are not going to show up and vote for Fetterman. They're going to vote for us. And there's a lot of people can easily see that there's a huge distinction in the governors and Senate races, and a lot of people are going to be splitting tickets and just voting Oz after that debate. Some people, some Democrats, moderate Democrats and independents might have said, hey, I'm voting Shapiro, might as well just vote Fetterman. But no, like after you watch that debate, basically, every educated voter in Pennsylvania is going to have watched that debate or seen highlights of it, right? And they're going to see more like Oz can actually talk. Like Fetterman is really not in a great condition right now. And I think Oz is going to win by around 2 points in the state. The momentum shifting to Oz, and these polls are still from like a week ago. Like it's probably shifted a little more. The generic ballot shifted. I think Oz is winning by a lean Republican. But
okay. I mean, I largely, I guess I can, I can see your argument. Yeah, because I guess as more voters learn more about like the debate, what's going on, and then I mean, obviously things have been trending Republican. I guess over time, maybe it can even go beyond tilt and into lean Republican. But I don't know. The Trafalgar poll, the Insider Advantage poll, even the Wick poll, from like these lean Republican pollsters putting it so close makes me think like, okay, Fetterman definitely still has a shot here. Like as opposed to like, I don't know. I think he definitely has more of a shot of winning than Cortez Masto in Nevada. So this is definitely like tougher for me. But I don't know. I guess I'll go to you here and we'll put it in lean. Yeah.
All right. Well, now let's go down a few hundred miles maybe to Georgia, where in my opinion this is just a runoff race. Like I don't see, I mean, there's very few pathways to see these people avoid a runoff. Like the thing is that Chase Oliver, the libertarian, is polling really poorly recently, like really, really poorly, like 1 to 3% poorly. So Walker and Warnock would have to both be under like 48 or 49%, right? Like it would be it seems like they're probably gonna head to runoff. I think I stand by that. But recently, Chase Oliver's percentage has gone down. Like where do we think this is going to run off? Do you think it's going to run off? And if so, who do you think's favor?
Okay. I think this. I don't know. I just have a feeling this is going to go to a runoff. I don't know, man. The polling has been so close, and this is Georgia, right? So I mean, it has bases, like it has a very partisan Democratic base, very partisan Republican base. Democrats have been gaining in the state, but also this is Republican year. So I don't know, very, very close. I mean, yeah, we have Raphael Warnock, obviously the incumbent Democratic senator, going up against Herschel Walker, football star, and guy very known for his gaffes and scandals. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Warnock is still favored. Like, I mean, he's been the polling's been more split now, but I don't know. I mean, he has incumbency. Polls were off to the right. Wait, was it? They
Yeah,
had a
to the
right
right.
leaning bias, in 2020. I think Warnock's still the favorite here. If he doesn't win the runoff, if he doesn't win on election day, I think he'll win in a runoff. Especially like with his
Yeah.
advertising
So what
momentum.
I
I mean,
want to add though is that like I think he's really good in a runoff if, and that's an if, Democrats have take PA. So my reasoning is if Republicans already hold the Senate, Democrats are probably not turning out in the
yeah,
case that
that's a good point.
Republicans have 51 seats in the Senate and already have a large majority in the House. Like, can you really motivate voters to get to the polls? That's my question. I think like this one's super, super close if it goes to runoff, but if it does, like if Republicans take 51 seats, I feel like Walker's just slightly ahead. Where do you want to put this?
I mean, yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Because like, if Republicans win PA and Nevada, which they very well may, like Democrats will not be motivated because they physically cannot win the Senate. So I mean, yeah, that would probably mean a Walker win in a runoff. But I don't know. I still feel right now Warnock is favored. If he doesn't win on election day, he still has a great shot in a runoff. But yeah, I think I'd put this tilt D.
All right, yeah, we'll put this until D now. But our individual predictions may be different on this race, so keep your eye out on that one. All right,
and then Arizona.
Let's go to AZ, where it's another razor thin race between Mark Kelly and Blake Masters, and now I think the keys to the Senate, it's probably like PA, Georgia, and
AZ,
Arizona, right? Like, I mean, Arizona was not supposed to be this close. Like Mark Kelly was supposed to be a strong favorite over the summer at least, but somehow Blake Masters has gotten really close. And the Libertarian candidate Mark Victor withdrew on November 1st and endorsed Blake Masters, and he famously did quite well in the debate for some reason, and got Blake now has endorsed Blake Masters. The wave is up. Blake Masters has closened the polling, but personally, I think Kelly's still just a smidge ahead, and I actually think that this one's still Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is another rough one because in every poll, even the Republican leaning polls, Masters hasn't had a lead above one. Like it's just been like it's mostly just been Kelly in polling. And Kelly does have the incumbency. I don't know, because like since the polling is so close, what I'm thinking is if Republicans keep up that momentum, maybe Masters could take it here. He definitely has a shot of taking it. But again, Kelly's been very much portraying himself as moderate. He's the incumbent. This is like definitely one of my toughest, one of the toughest calls. I think I would say tilt D here too.
Yeah, he's also polling a lot worse than he did in 2020, which is something pretty notable considering now he's an incumbent. He should be polling better than he did in 2020 against Martha McSally. But yeah, I think this was just tilt Democrat, but we've talked about this before. We think one of AZ or Georgia are going to be wrong. And as in Republicans will hold 52 seats, but that individually they look like they're going Democrat. So that has to be the characterization we put there. So there we go. 51 Republican seats, 49 Democrat seats. This is definitely bound to change. Like we said this so many times throughout this video that like 5 of these ratings could change. Maybe none of them change by Tuesday. Individual ratings could be different. Who will control the Senate? 75 to 30, basically, in terms of the betting odds. We have number of seats. 51 isn't exactly popular. 52 to 53 is a lot more popular. A lot of people bullish on New Hampshire for absolutely no reason, so we've got that as well. So, thanks for watching, guys. We've got 51 Republicans and 49 Democrats in our final, but not so final Senate prediction. Leave a like on this video down below. Leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe. Yeah, there we go.
And make sure to share with your friends. The election is approaching. The Senate will be decided soon. Oh, this is going to be so fun.
It's gonna be so exciting, and we will have the best coverage. So you better subscribe. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
See ya.